Okay, all right, here we are. So, as promised, I'm going to go through all 6 of the logic games that I had set up. So I'm going to go over the ones that we did in the meeting already. I'm going to go over the ones we didn't do, and then I'm going to go over the ones on the paper that I gave you guys. So I'll probably throw something up here if I'm going to get a video editing, which I'm probably not, that says the time codes for each one if you want to skip to them. So you don't have to watch anything that you already saw, you don't need to see again. So, but here we are, we're going to start with the first one, this one about the Export Alliance. So the Export Alliance consists of exactly 3 nations. Nation X, I'm going to be trying to draw with this thing, so I don't know how good it's going to look, but you'll know, ideally, what I'm drawing. X, Y, and Z. Those are our 3. And each nation in the alliance exports exactly 2 of the following 5 crops. So we have oranges. Okay, the O's are going to be the worst ones, but that is an O, I promise you. So oranges, then we have rice. That's gross too. Soybeans, tea, and wheat. We'll see how much better my handwriting gets on this thing when, by the end, hopefully it improves. So that's what we got. And we have the following conditions. None of the nations export both wheat and oranges. So none of that, no wheat and oranges. If nation X exports soybeans if, but only if Y does also. So nation X exports soybeans. If and only if, we're going to want to use this double-sided arrow because each one proves the other, right? If X has soybeans, then Y has soybeans, and if Y has soybeans, X has soybeans. It works both ways, see? And then if nation Y exports rice, Y, okay, I'm just going to do R's like that because that's a bit too much. So if Y exports rice, then nations X and Z export tea. So X and Z, that's gross. Export tea. All right. And then nation Y does not export any crop, the nation Z exports. So it's in Y. It's not in Z. Okay, there are our rules. There's our setup. All right. So start with question 1. X out of the drawing thingy. All right. So which one of the following could be an accurate list for each of the nations of the crops it exports? Now, do you remember what I said with this? These questions are easy because pretty much one option will break one of the rules. All right. So let's see what breaks the first rule. W and O cannot be together. Do any of these have W and O together? Let's see. Here we go. C, nation X has W and O, oranges and wheat together. That cannot be our answer. Let's see what breaks rule number 2. Soybeans in X means soybeans in Y and vice versa. So nation X, here we are. E, nation X has soybeans, but Y does not, right? So there we go, that's wrong. What breaks rule number 3? If Y has rice, X and Z both have T. We need to look for something where Y has rice. This one, yep. See, B, Y has rice, but Z does not have T. And then last but not least, this is Y, it's not in Z. Which one of these has Y and Z have something in common? C, D, Y has oranges, and Z also has oranges. So that is wrong, and A is our answer. Easy enough, right? All right, let's erase this and to the next one. So what do we have here? If nation X exports soybeans and tea, then which of the following could be true? So nation X, oh yes, each of these only has 2, by the way. I need to include that. You got to be very careful about numbers, right? There's only 6 spots here, 2 for each of them, and we got to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables, right? So if nation X exports soybeans and tea, what does that trigger? Well, nation X has soybeans, then Y also has to have soybeans, right? So Y has soybeans. And now, remember, there are 6 slots and 5 options. Nothing else can repeat. You can only have one variable happen twice, right? So we for sure can't have this, right? Because if Y exports rice, then we have 2 T's, and we can't have 2 T's, we already have 2 S's. So nation Y exports rice cannot be true, right? Come on, it's not gonna let me. Come on, draw. Thank you. Nation Y exports rice, can't have it. Can it export oranges? Yeah, probably, I don't know. Can nation Y export tea? Nope, because then we'd have 2 T's, right? See, if you see something that's plausible, but you're not sure or not, just kind of move on, look at the rest. So that's what I'm doing with A here. It seems plausible, but I'm not quite sure. Nation Z exports soybeans. Oh, nope, then we have 3 S's. Can't have that, definitely. So none of that. And nation Z exports tea. Nope, then we'd have 2 T's. Nope, so it is A after all. There we are. So easy enough, right? Pretty simple one. And then we go on to the next question. If nation Z exports tea and wheat, then which of the following must be true? So when we're dealing with a must be true, let me erase these little things here. This is from our last question. If we're doing a must be true, then it's pretty simple. All we got to do is see what follows from our rules. So if nation Z exports tea and wheat, put tea and wheat in Z. What follows from that? Now, remember, Y can't have anything that Z has. So I like to, come on, not a mouse or anything else. I like to draw these things above. So Y cannot have tea and it cannot have wheat, right? No tea, no wheat. So what else does that leave us with? Tea and wheat is dealt with. The following must be true. All right. See, this tells me that we're looking for something that must be true, right? It tells me there's going to be something that follows from our rules that I can plug in here. So what else is entailed by the rules? So Y is not in Z. If Y has rice, that can still be the case if it wants. Okay. I know we went over this one, but it's taking me a second. I'll probably just cut this out of the video to make myself look smarter. But I'm trying to go through these accurately and reflect my thought process as I go. So we have 4 spots left, right? And 3 variables left, O, R, and S. So 1 can repeat, but that is about it. Oh, yes, okay. Blatantly obvious. So soybeans has to go in one of these two, right? So if it goes in one, it has to go in the other. So if it goes in X, it has to go in Y. If it goes in Y, it has to go in X. So no matter what we do, S is going to be in both, right? Because of this rule right here. So nation Y export soybeans. That has to be the case. So that took me a second. You want to go through all your rules and see which one applies. And don't feel bad if one just doesn't quite click for you. It happens all the time. So, and if you're doing a real timed one and something just really isn't clicking, you're going to want to skip it and come back to it, right? Because the thing with games is that you're working with the same setup, right? So for all the questions we have, we're using, come on, erase, may not erase, we're using the same setup here, right? So you're going to get more used to it as the game goes on. So by the time I've done another 2 or 3 questions, I'm going to be more used to the setup, not less. And so coming back to something is always a good idea if you're stumped for a minute. So if I was doing this in a game and it was taking me a second to see something because I knew something should be there, something should follow from the rules, then I would skip this and come back to it, right? And so the next question, it cannot be the case that nation X and nation Z export which one of the crops. Now, same rule we just used, right? If X has soybeans, Y has soybeans. So if X and Y both have soybeans, then Z can also have soybeans, right? So it cannot be the case that nation X and nation Z export which of the following crops. If X and Z both exported soybeans, then so would Y, and now we have 3 S's, which we can't have, right? Because we only have 6 variables, no 6 slots and 5 variables, only 1 can repeat. So easy one, given that we know our rules, soybeans, done. See, some of them are kind of hard, they kind of take you a second. Other ones you're like, oh, yep, I already know that rule, done and done. I want that erased, that's, oh, there we go, fantastic. So which brings us to our next question. And what does this one say? Which one of the following pairs cannot be the 2 crops that nation Y exports? All right, make my drawback, there we go. So what would be a problem if Y exported it? So which one of our, what kind of rules involve Y over here? So, and what would cause a mutual contradiction? You see, if Y has rice, then Z has to have tea, right? So if Y has rice, it cannot have tea, because if it's in Y, it cannot be in Z, right? So I didn't even really need to look at the options. That was just the first idea that came to my mind, because we have this little thing here that ensures that would be a contradiction. Rice and tea cannot exist simultaneously, right? Because, you know, Y has rice, Z has to have tea, but if Z has tea, Y cannot have tea, which would be a problem. All right. So, done with that one. What was that? Okay, so that was, yeah, that was the last one on that. So now we're going to go to the next one, the one with the thunderstorms. So we're going to erase all of this. And while I'm doing that, I'll just make the note that whenever you get stuff wrong, what I found the most useful is not seeing what the right answer is, but just going through the game again without looking what the right answer is and just trying to figure out in my own head where I went wrong, right? It's easy to look at the right answer and then figure out why it's right. It's hard to just do the whole game again. So that's what I tend to do whenever I got anything wrong and I was going back and reviewing. So just a little note right there. And I would always write down what I got wrong, right? What was my issue there? So if you had problems with that last one, the biggest thing to remember probably is the spacing. Is to remember that if you have 6 slots and 5 variables, only one can repeat, and that's going to be your most important consideration. You're going to want to keep track of numbers. All right. So now one afternoon, a single thunderstorm passes over exactly 5 towns: Jackson, Lofton, Nordique, that's gross, Oceana, and Platesville. Dropping 1 form of precipitation on each. The storm is the only source of precipitation. All right, so it's passing over these in an order, right? So we're doing an ordering game. The last one was a grouping game. This one is ordering. That's actually decent too for, this gross computer thing. So there are 5 towns and they will be in an order. We don't have to worry about numbering this time because 5 and 5, we're just putting them in an order. So on some towns it drops both hail and rain. So we have a second variable here. So it's not just ordering. You have to also find which ones get hail, right? It says it drops hail and rain on some, and on others it drops only rain. So these all get rain. Every single one will get rain because the only 2 options are hail and rain or just rain. So the only question is whether they get hail or not. So it passes over each town exactly once and does not pass over any 2 towns at the same time. Yeah, so that's basically just saying that it's in an order. So the third town the storm passes over is Platesville. So I'd put a P right here, or you can put it right here. Either way really works. I'm trying to remember which one I do. I think I sometimes do both, but whatever. P is in third place. And it's up to you whether or not you want to write a rule for it as well. I tend not to just because I don't want to clutter up the rule space. I want to have as few rules as possible to look back at when I'm trying to figure out something. Like if you remember the last game, when I was going through, I knew something had to follow from the rules, so I was looking at every single rule. So it's better for me than if I have fewer here. So I'll just put a P there and be done with it because that indicates to me that there's a P in every single iteration of this game on the third spot, right? The storm drops hail and rain on the second town. Okay, so actually, yeah, I think I'm going to erase the P on top here. I'm gonna use on top for the hail categorization. So hail will always drop over town 2. See, again, no rules necessary, just putting it over there in the diagram. The storm drops only rain on both Lofton and Oceania. So Lofton, Oceania, they do not have hail. See, it's easier. Forget the rain, forget it entirely. Just you're grouping these into ones with hail and not hail. All right, and then the storm passes over Jackson, sometime after it passes over Lofton, and sometime after it passes over Nordique. So after Lofton and after Nordique, we have Jackson. All right, so from here, we can go to our first question. We have a decent good setup here. Which in the following could be in order from first to fifth in which the storm passes over the towns. Now, if you remember what I said, just trying to figure out which breaks each rule. So rule number 1, P is in third place. Does any of these not have P in third place? Nope, nope. Aha, see, Lofton is in third place for E, so it is wrong. All right, and then hail is over town 2 always. So what would break that rule is if, Lofton or Oceania were in 2 because they cannot get hail, right? So, Oceania is in space 2. Oh, Lofton is in space 2. That's wrong as well. See, now that's 2 rules it brings in. So yeah, there's 2 that break it, right? It's usually 1 for 1. Sometimes it's not, but for the most part, that's a good model to have in your mind. So, and then this last rule, L and N are both before J. Oh, nope, see, in this one, L is after J. So wrong, and A is our correct answer. All right, easy peasy. Let's go ahead and erase. Next question. If the storm passes over Oceania at some time before it passes over Jackson, each of the following could be true except, oh yes, I forgot to write this, but Jackson has at least 2 before it, right? At least 2 variables at all times. So it can't be 1 or 2 because it has to have 2 before it, right? Whenever you have a rule where, something has another variable before or after it, that will indicate to you that it can't be like first or second, or it can't be last, something like that. Because like if something came after J, we knew J couldn't be last, right? So, but in this case, J has to be either 4 or 5 in every iteration of the game, right? So this storm passes over Oceania at some time before it passes over Jackson. Now it's a third one, right? That would be Oceania as well before Jackson. That would mean Jackson would have to be 5th by, come on, stop doing that to me. By definition, because it has 3 variables before it, and they have to fill these 1, 2, 3 spots. So Jackson there. And then in these 3 spots, Lofton and Oceania can't, be in space 2, as we've discussed already. So N has to be in space 2. And then O or J ORL can be here and ORL can be here. So we don't have any specifics because O just comes before J and so does L. It doesn't say whether they come before or after each other. So this could be ORL, this could be ORL. Then each following could be true except, so we're looking for what has to be false. The first town is Oceania. Remember, this can be ORL. So yeah, not that one. It can be either way. The fourth is Lofton. Remember, ORL. The fourth town receives hail and rain. Aha, because we just said fourth town can be O or L, but neither of them can receive hail, right? So there we go. That can't be the case because whatever is in that fourth spot is either O or L, and so cannot receive hail. So just for kicks, the last two, the fifth town is Jackson. Yeah, that's just has to be true, right? The fifth town receives only rain. Yeah, that is also the case. Jackson can receive whatever the hell it wants. So we're looking for what has to be false. This one can be true, this one can be true, this one has to be true, and this one can be true. So C is the only one here that has to be false. All right, so let's erase that. Erase the ones we put on for this one. Okay. And then that brings us to question number 3. Just scroll this down here. All right, if the storm drops only rain on every town it passes over after passing over Lofton. Oh, wait, I forgot to erase though. That wasn't one of our original rules. That's what I added on the show. All right, if the storm drops only rain on each town it passes over after Lofton, then which of the following could be false? All right, so if it's nothing after Lofton gets hail, right? So we know Lofton can't be first, right? Because something receives hail after what's first, right? And it can't be second because Lofton itself can't receive hail, right? So Lofton would have to go either fourth or fifth. And remember, it has to come before J, so that means it has to come fourth. So put an L there and a J there, right? So which only leaves us with the variables of N and O for the rest. And remember, O can't get hail, so it has to be here. Meaning N has to be here. There we go, we figured out the order, fantastic. So which one following could be false? So everything else is going to be true, I think. So the first town passes over is Oceania, true. Fourth town storm passes over receives only rain. Yep, because Lofton can only receive rain, cannot receive hail, remember? So, come on, stop switching to a mouse. The fifth town is Jackson, has to be true. Jackson receives only rain, that can go either way. And Platesville receives only rain. Yes, so Jackson, remember, if you remember what our question was, it was that each town after Lofton receives only rain. So J being after Lofton has to receive only rain, that has to be true. So E is our correct answer. Platesville can receive whatever the hell kind of precipitation it wants. Right? Okay. Now let's erase these because they're not always true. All right. Now question 4. Are we? There we are. If the storm passes over Jackson at some time before passes over Oceania. Okay, so if Jackson is before Oceania, we just add that over here. Jackson would have to be fourth, right? Because it can only be fourth or fifth. And the only way it has something after it is if it's fourth. And then same thing before. L cannot be in position 2, so it has to be here. And N has to be in position 2. So we'll figure out the order again. Which one could be false? Again, everything else should be true. Storm passes over Lofton before Jackson. True. Storm passes over Lofton before Oceania. True. Storm passes over Nordique at some time before Oceania. True. The fourth town storm passes over receives only rain. That could be false. And then the fifth town storm passes over receives only rain. Yes, because Oceania always receives only rain. So that has to be true. So the only one of these that can be false is D. Everything else is true. So remember to be careful with what it's asking of you. If it's asking you what can be false, then all the wrong answers will be true. Don't get it in your head that we're just looking for the answer that's true. That is kind of what most standardized, tests actually, have you looking for, just what answer is true, but not so with the LSAT. The LSAT will sometimes ask you what can be false. So, all right. Now for the next question. This should be the last one for this game, I think. Yeah. Oh yes, this is the one that I screwed up. Yes, because despite what it may sound like, I'm an idiot about half the time. So this word is supposed to be before. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to. Yeah, you get it, before. I can't write it that small with this thing. And then of course, this is supposed to be the word some. So I was just in a real rush with this one. So if the storm passes over Oceania at some time before it passes over Lofton, then which one of the following must be true? So I didn't erase everything, did I? All right. So if Oceania is before Lofton, Oceania before Lofton, same thing that's happened a couple times happens again. J has to be last because it now has to have 3 before it. 1, 2, 3. Jackson is last. And L and O cannot be in position 2, so N has to be. And O is before L, so O before L. Brilliant. That is a terrible L that looks like an angle. All right. So which of the following must be true? Okay, now we're looking for something that has to be true. So what has to be true here? The third town receives only rain. Nope, Platesville can receive whatever it wants. The fourth town receives only rain. Aha. Fourth town is Lofton, and Lofton cannot receive hail. It must receive only rain. B is correct. And if we want to check the others for, shits and giggles, we can do that. The fourth town, storm passes over, receives hail and rain. No, we just said that. L cannot receive hail. The fifth town, storm passes over, receives only rain. Yeah, J can receive whatever it wants. And the fifth town, storm passes over, receives hail and rain. Again, same deal. The only one that must be true is B. All right. So that finishes the ones that we went over in class. Well, not class, in club. I don't know. It was an LSAT class. Okay, you're going to forgive me for that. So now we're going to go into the next one that I planned to present, but that we didn't quite get to because, it took a bit longer than I thought, just because, we're having everyone chime in and get involved, which I think is optimal. So, panel of 5 scientists is going to be formed. All right, now this one's tricky a little bit. Panelists will be selected from among 3 botanists, 3 chemists, and 3 zoologists. So we have categories here. Botanists. I'm gonna throw that a bit over. Botanists. Okay. There are the botanists. There are the chemists. What the fuck? Where? This is irritating. Chemists and zoologists. Those are our 3 categories, and each of them has 3 scientists that fit that description. So the botanists are F, G, that looks like a B, and H. The chemists, okay, come on. The chemists are K, L, and M. And the zoologists are P, Q, and R. All right, and so with these, 5 of them will be chosen, and of course there are 9, so 4 will not be chosen. It depends on your style of game. If you want to add, a section for like get in, don't get in. I don't tend to for this one, I don't think. So I'm just gonna go as I normally do, but keep in mind if you would rather add a little section for that, go ahead. But I usually make do like this. So here are the rules. Panel must include at least 1 scientist from each of the 3 types. So I'm gonna put 1 of each. So we got to make sure we include at least 1 botanist, 1 chemist, and 1 zoologist, right? And then if more than 1 botanist is selected, then at most 1 zoologist is selected. Okay, not the tricky one to write out succinctly. But, so if more than 1 botanist, so that means 2 or 3, right? Because there's only 3. So stop changing to a mouse. 2 or 3 botanists, can be B eventually, 2 or 3 botanists, then at most 1 zoologist is selected. Then 0 or 1 zoologist. You can also just put like greater than 1B, then less than 2Z, whatever is most intuitive to you. I just do the numbers because it helps me think it through a bit better, but whatever you look at and it makes sense to you. Then F and K cannot both be selected. F and K cannot be selected. Now, if you remember the first game when I did 2 things can't be selected, I did them vertically. That was because I was fitting them into vertical columns in my mind for the categories. For this, I'm just saying that they got selected, so I do it horizontally. That's just a quirk of how my mind works, but you can do whatever is intuitive to you. K and M, same thing. So right off the bat, I'm seeing that K can't be with a couple things. Can't be with F or M. So might want to keep that in mind. And if M is selected, both P and R must be selected. So M, P, R. All right, and I promise writing these is usually a lot faster, so it's not going to take as long as it makes it look. So with that done, we can go to our first question. Which one of the following could be an acceptable selection for the panelists? All right, now what do we do? As usual, everything has to break a rule. So, well, not everything. I'm going to expect that maybe the one each rule isn't broken. That's normally just pretty standard, but if it is, we'll look at it. So if there's, okay, I'm going to start with these. These are the easiest. F and K and M. All right, that one has K and M, right? And then what is, oh, there we go. That one has F and K, done and done. Then if M, there has to be P and R. So M, P, oh, this one doesn't have R, so that one's wrong too. See, just focus on the easy ones. All right, and then if there's 2 or 3 botanists, then there can only be 0 or 1 zoologist. Oh wait, I am such an idiot. There cannot be 0 zoologists because there has to be 1 of each, right? There we go. So if you make a mistake, don't be afraid to fix it as you go. So there's only 1 zoologist. So the not more than one thing was just trying to mislead you. There's 1 zoologist if there are 2 or 3 botanists. So does either of these have 2 or 3 botanists? Is there F, G, and H? All right, G and H. This one has 2. Does it only have 1 zoologist? Yes, it just has R. Okay, so it doesn't break that rule. Does it break the 1 of each rule? Let me see. So it has J, G, H. It's botanist, K, L, R. No, that is 1 of each. What about this one? H, K, M, P, R. H, K, M, P, R. Okay, nope. That one doesn't break the 1 of each rule either. So what rule does one of these break? Oh, this one broke the K and M rule too. Damn. Okay. It's a perfect example. Like I said, it's not always 1-to-1. So, just be careful about that. But yeah, the answer should be C. So that's weird. Yeah, because K and M, and then this one had the K and M too. No. So start with assuming that 1 breaks 1 rule, but that won't always be the case. But similar deal, you're still just looking at the rule and trying to find what breaks it. So question numero 2. This up. M is the only chemist selected for the panel, which the following must be true. Now, so we get into numbers graph a little bit. So if M is the only chemist, right, then there are 4 spots left, right? So there are 2 options. We can't have 2 and 2, right? Because if there's 2 botanists, there's only 1 zoologist. So it's either 3 botanists, 1 zoologist, or 3 zoologists, 1 botanist. However, if M is selected, we know that we have to have P and R, right? So included, we have M, P, and R, which means we already have 2 zoologists. So it can't be 3 botanists, 1 zoologist. It has to be all 3 zoologists. So we have to add Q there if the thing wants to work. That is a terrible Q. And it stops drawing on me. Anyway, that's a Q, which means we need 1 botanist. And does it matter which botanist? I don't think so. Yeah, so we just need 1 botanist. So which of the following must be true? F and G are selected. Nope, that cannot be true, right? Because only 1 of them is selected. F and G are both botanists. G and H are both selected. Again, no, cannot be true. They're both botanists. We only need 1. H and P are both selected. That could be true, right? H could be our 1 botanist, and we have P. F, G, and H are all selected. Oh, no, no, no. That's not possible. P, Q, and R. Yep, P, Q, and R. We already said they had to be selected. There we go. That has to be true. All right. Again, when it's a must be true, you're just checking what follows from your rules. And what followed from our rules was that if M was selected, then the only possible scenarios, if I was the only chemist, we're left with either 3 and 1 botanist to zoologist or 3 and 1 zoologist to botanist. And because P and R have to follow from M, that means it has to be 3 zoologists, 1 botanist, which means we have to include all of them. There you go. Done and done. All right. So erase all this. All right. And then next question. If 4 of the scientists selected are F, L, Q, and R, which of the following must be the 5th scientists? All right. So we have F, L, Q, and R. That's F, L, Q, and R. All right. So what do we know from that? Q and R, that's 2 Z's, 2 zoologists, which means we only have 1 botanist. So F is the only botanist. So not G or H. And then we included F. So it can't be K, right? Because no F and K, which leaves us with M or P. But if we have M, we have to have P, right? So no, can't be M, because that would bring 2, and we only have 1 spot left, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 already selected. We're looking for 1 spot, and would bring P along with it. We can't have that. So it's just P. So the answer here is E. Simple enough. See, and this is why I take the time to write out the variables, because I'll do that little thing. I'll just put dots to indicate I've already thought of them or used them. So if I were writing, I probably would have put like little slashes on the ones that I couldn't use. But you know what? That takes too much time when I'm trying to do on the computer. So that brings us to our next question. If P is the only zoologist selected, which of the following must be true? Okay. So if P is the only zoologist, that means R is not selected, right? Because R is also a zoologist. So, okay, I'm just going to do it this time. So we can't have Q because that's a zoologist, we can't have R because that's a zoologist, and because we can't have R, we can't have M because M would necessitate R, right? So we already know we have P, and we don't have Q, R, and M. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible ones remaining, but we need 4 of them. So where do we go from there? Hi. Let's see what our options are. If K is selected, G cannot be selected. No, I don't see any reason why not. So again, if it seems kind of plausible, you just leave it. If L is selected, G cannot be selected. I don't see any reason why that would be the case. So I don't think so either. I'm gonna leave it alone. If exactly one chemist is selected, it must be K. No, it could be L if we wanted to. So we could just do L, F, G, and H. There's nothing that stops us. If exactly 2 chemists are selected, F cannot be selected. All right, if 2 chemists are selected, that means both K and L are selected, right? Because we can't have M. And if K and L are both selected, yeah, F cannot be selected because F cannot go with K. So if we select, so we already selected P. So if according to this, we select L and K because we select 2 chemists and we can't select M, that means we cannot select F. So yes, if exactly 2 chemists are selected, K and L, F cannot be selected. That is true. This is one of the ones where, again, we're looking for what must be true. So when you're looking for what must be true, that means a lot of the other options could be true, right? You're not looking for a difference between has to be true and has to be false. You're looking for what must be true, meaning, yeah, again, all these are plausible, but there's no reason they have to be the case. Whereas with D, it has to be the case, right? That's what you're looking for. So I'm gonna erase these little things. Okay, brings us to the next question. If both G and H are among the scientists selected, the panel must include either. Okay, so if we include G and H, what does that tell us? First of all, it tells us that only one zoologist is selected, right? Remember, because 2 or 3 botanists equals 1 zoologist. So only 1. And when 1 zoologist is selected, remember, M cannot be, because M brings in 2 zoologists, P and R. So stop, give me a pointer. Why would you do this? So M cannot be selected. And only 1 of these guys. Stop it. So that's what we know from that, right? And then G and H do anything else? Not that I see. So the panelists must include, again, looking for must, not can, F or else K. So it's saying it must include either F or K, right? Can we do it without F or K? Can we do G, H, L? Oh, wait, that might be right. Maybe, let me look at it. If we select G and H, L, P, that would only leave us with 4. What question is this? Okay, so this is question 5. Cool. Yes, that is correct. That was easy. F for else K. I had a bit of a mix up because I have the answers here. I try not to look at them terribly often because I'm trying to do it authentically. But whenever I come to an answer, I just double check myself to make sure that I'm right and I'm not telling you, wrong information. So I looked at the wrong one. Yes, the scientist one, question 5, it is A. I looked at the game before. So yes, that is true. And why is that true? Because we need 5 spots, right? We can only get 1 from here. If we have these 2, we have 3 spots left. 1 of them come from here, which means we have 2 that must come from here. And F and K cannot go together. So even if 1 is L, the other one has to be either F or K. It's 1, 2, 3, and then 1 of these only brings us to 4. We need F or K. So that is the end of that game. So that one's a little trickier just because of the categories, right? But like you saw, you can still figure it out easily enough if you just follow the rules and remember the numbers, right? The biggest rule I think in that one was the fact that you can only have so many zoologists with so many botanists. So always be cognizant of the number limits. All right, and then this one is one that I had on your paper. So if you were in my meeting, if you're someone else watching this video, don't worry about it. But if you were at the meeting, you probably want to do this one on your own before you hear me explain it. So exactly 6 of an artist's paintings entitled Quarterion, Redemption, Sippo, Tesseract, Veil, and Zelkova are sold at auction. 3 of them are sold to a museum and 3 are sold to a private collector. All right, so we're doing a grouping. So there's 3 of them, half go to a museum and the other are sold to a private collector. Those are our 2 categories. And 2 of the paintings are from the first period, 2 are from the second, and 2 are from the third. Private collector and museum each buy a painting from each period, right? So there's another element here we got to be careful of. So this makes our little thing here into a grid. 1, 2, and 3. So the museum will get 1 from each of these periods, and so will the private collector, right? And then we have these rules. Sipapu, so to the private collector, is from an earlier period than Zelkova, right? So Sipapu is over here, and it is earlier than Zelkova. So S is less than Zelkova. That's less corresponds to earlier, right? Then we have the next condition that, okay, give me 1 second. I'm just going to look something up for 1 second. Okay, yes, there are only 3 rules of this one. I wanted to make sure I hadn't left something off because normally it's a bit more than 3 rules, but sure, this one only has 3. Fantastic. All right, quaternion is not from an earlier period than tesseract. All right, not earlier means it can be equal to or later, right? So quaternion is later or equal to tesseract. Veil is from the artist's second period. Okay, so we're just gonna put V here. All right, so with that, we can go forward. Which one of the following could be an accurate list of paintings bought by the museum and private collector listed in order of the paint periods from first to third? So a lot of stuff going on, isn't it? But it's fine. We should be able to figure it out. All we got to do is follow our rules. Now again, for the first question, try and find what breaks the rules. Rule number 1. Okay, S is sold to private collector, and it's earlier than Z. Do any of these have S going to the museum? Aha, yep, C does. Okay, and then it has to be earlier than Zelkova. So does anything have S in the third position? Not that I see. Okay, we'll check that one again if we need to. Second rule, quaternion is not earlier than tesseract. So does anything have, oh, yep, look, this one, quaternion is first and tesseract is third. If it's a little confusing to you, see museum first has quaternion, Veil, and Zelkova. It says it's in order. So first, second, third, and then private collector, first, second, third. So this has tesseract in period 3 and quaternion in period 1, which cannot happen because quaternion has to be either later or the same period as tesseract. And 1 is earlier than 3. All right, then does anything not have Veil in the second position? See, right here, D has Veil in the third position for the private collector. 1, 2, 3. So that's wrong. All right, so now we probably get to this thing with S being earlier than Z. See this one, look at this, has Z first position and S first position, which makes them equal. No, they're not equal. S has to be before Z. So our answer is B. All right, easy enough. If Sipapu is from the artist's second period, which of the following could be true? Blah, blah, blah. All right, so if Sipapu is from the second period, Sipapu, remember, is the private collector. That means Veil is second period in the museum. And so if S is before Z, Z has to be in this third period here, right? Don't know which one, but it's in the third period. So, yes. This tells anything but Q and T, I think. It can be later or equal to. I think quaternion would then have to be, oh no, it can be first. Okay. All right. So, which following could be 2 or 3 paintings bought by the private collector? All right. Quaternion and Zelkova. If quaternion and Zelkova are these two, then quaternion would have to be first, which would make tesseract first, because it has to be even, right? So, okay, let's say, come on. Thank you. So if that were the case, Z would go here, Q would go here, T would have to go here. And what does that leave us with? R. Okay, that seems plausible. Give me a second. Oh, okay. So we missed, I missed an earlier part of the rules, right? Where are we? Zelkova is sold to the museum. Sipu, which is sold to private collectors, sold an earlier period than Zelkova, which is sold to the museum. So I am half an idiot. I've said this before. Zelkova goes to the museum. Now, did that have any influence on question number 1? Did I miss something? Let's see. Zelkova. Oh yeah, no, see, all these options had Zelkova going to the museum, so it didn't matter. But I missed that here. So make sure you always get down every aspect of the rule. Sometimes a rule will have 2 levels to it. I only wrote down, actually, it said 3 levels because S was from private collector, it's earlier than Z, and Z goes to the museum. So that was my issue. I forgot to look for all the elements in that one rule. There were 3. I stopped at 2 because normally there's only 1 or 2, but that messed me up. So it's a good thing I have the correct answers over here because I was like, oh, so A should be right? But no, it isn't. So I had to figure out why I was wrong. So let that be a lesson to everyone. Always make sure you get every aspect of the rule, even though there might be multiple. So with that in mind, yes, obviously Quaterion and Zelkova cannot be bought by the private collector because Zelkova is bought by the museum. All right. So let me just erase these. So, and we do have these little things here as abbreviations of the rules, but if you're ever like really having a hard time, you can always look at the written rules themselves on the game, which ideally you shouldn't have to, but if you ever need to, it's always there. Come on, erase the freaking thing. Thank you. All right, so come on. All right. So with that little fix there, we know it's used in the museum, and so if Z has to be from a later period than S, it is right here. If it lets me draw. All right. So what can be the 2 other ones from the private collector? All right, redemption and tesseract. R and T. Is that possible? Yes, because Q can be first, so it's even with T, and then R can be last because there are no rules affecting R. This is another reason you have the variables here. Actually, I forgot. You're gonna want to circle the one that like no rules affect R. So whenever you see R is like a option in a can this be true question, you're gonna want to be attracted to it a little bit because there's no rules attached to it. It can do a lot of things. So redemption and tesseract can go here. It would just go tesseract, quaterion, so they're even, and then redemption. There you go, plausible. As for the other ones, redemption and veil. Redemption, veil is second position, so it has to be on the museum side. It cannot be sold to the private collector, remember, because veil is always second position. So if we have S be second position over here, V has to be second position in the museum category. Redemption and Zelkova. Zelkova has to be here. We just figured that out. It has to be in the museum. It cannot be in the private collector. And tesseract and Zelkova, same thing. So there we go. Now for question 3. Which of the following is a complete and accurate list of the paintings, anyone of which could be painting the artist's first period that is sold to the private collector. All right. So which can go in this spot right here? Well, not Z and not V, right? So not B, not C. So on the face of it, I'm thinking probably just QR, S, and T. QR, S, and T, which would be D. So let's see if there's any reason why not. So this one includes Zelkova, so we know that's wrong, right? So is there any reason any of these other ones can't go here? Q has to be equal to T, but again, they can be first, both of them. Will equal to or later than T, it just can't be earlier. So that's fine. R has no rules on it whatsoever, so R can probably go there. Q and T, R, S only has to go in P and B earlier than Z. So, oh yeah, which means S can't go in the third position actually, right? Because it's earlier than Z. It can't actually be third because that would make it at the very least equal to Z, right? So S can only ever be in first or second. So yeah, all right. I'm not seeing any reason for any of these not to be included here. So yeah, B is the answer. All right. So on to question 4. That one's decently simple. Just because there's not a lot of rules that affect it, as long as you know, which we already have in our graph here, that V can't be in first position and Z can't be the private collector. So as long as you know that, we're good. If Sipu is from the artist's second period, right? So if Sipu is from this second period, oh, we're doing that again? Jeez. Yeah, okay. It's from the artist's second period. Which of the following paintings could be from period immediately preceding Quaterion's period and some of the same buyer's criteria? Yeah, I said that a little fast, but you know what, you can read it, you're good. So if S is here, again, V is here. Come on. V is here, Z is here. So which can be from a period preceding quaternion. Okay, so the quaternion can't go here, right? Because nothing precedes number one. Can't go here, so it has to go here, which means S would be the one preceding it. The answer is B. All right, so if you're confused about that one, it's the same setup we did before. If S is here, V has to be second, so it has to be second in the museum spot. And Z has to be later than S, so it has to be third, and it's by definition the museum spot. And so if something is preceding quaternion, quaternion can't be in first, it has to be in third, sold to the private collector, S has to be before it. Simple enough. Why does it keep thinking that I want a mouse? I'm clearly trying to draw stuff. All right, moving on to the last question for this one. If Zelkova is sold to the same buyer as Tesseract, and from the period immediately preceding Tesseract's period, then which of the following must be true? All right, so, okay. If Zelkova is sold to the same buyer as Tesseract, and we know Zelkova is to the museum, so Zelkova and Tesseract are both to the museum, and Zelkova is before Tesseract, that means it has to be second, right? Zelkova, Tesseract. Why does it have to be second? Because it has to be later than S, right? So it can never be first. So Z can't be first. Because if it's first, at the most, it's equal to S. Same reason S can't be in third, Z cannot be in first, right? So if there is something that, so if Zelkova shows the same buyer as Tesseract from before Tesseract, so if there's something that comes after Z, it can't be in third either, right? Tesseract comes after it. So it has to be in second, because it can't be first, and now it can't be third because something comes after it, making it second. Which means V has to be over here, because V always has to be in second position, and that means S has to be first. So, and then Q cannot be earlier than T, so Q has to be here, and R has to be here. So which of the following must be true? Quaternion is sold to the museum? No. Quaternion is from the artist's third period? Yep. Answer, done. We can check the rest if we want. Redemption is sold to the private collector? Nope. Redemption is from the artist's third period? Nope. Redemption is sold to the same buyer as Veil? No. All right, so done with that game. Okay, this racing is invariably so. They shouldn't have an option to make it bigger. Can you? No. So, and then that brings us to the last game. So the biggest thing to remember from that is one, well, remember the whole rule and don't be like me. And then secondly, to always consider the implications. Like we added that S cannot ever go, what was it, last? Yes, and T can never go first. Stuff like that. Well, not explicitly said, have to follow from the reasoning. So just be aware of that kind of stuff, right? If something has to come after a variable, that variable can never be last. And if something has to come before a variable, it can never be first, etc. Oh no, we have 2 more games actually. So this one, farmer harvests 8 separate fields. Let me get my annotate back on. All right, that is gross. G, H, J, K, L, M, P, T. And that's taking me a second, but just be patient. Okay. I absolutely hate trying on this. This is terrible. I wish there was some way I could just show you me writing on a piece of paper, but that would require a lot more thought than I'm able to put in. So G, H, J, K, L, M, P, T. That is our gross little list. Each is exactly once. No 2 fields are harvested simultaneously. Again, that's just saying that these are going to be put in an order from first to last. Once the harvest of the field begins, blah, blah, blah. So we are trying to find first, second, third, fourth, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Come on, there we go. All right, put them in order. Both P and G are harvested sometime before K. All right, so P and G are before K. H and L are before J. So H and L are before J. K is sometime before M, but after L. L, K, M. Now, this is something you gotta be careful for. If they're doing 3 variables, it'll say before M, right? But after L. So just be careful that you're not, putting both on one side like we just did. You gotta differentiate. And T is at some time before M. Okay. Now the thing with this is what I love. This is one of my favorite things to do, is we can combine this into one giant diagram, right? So how do we do that? We just connect the numbers, the letters where they appear twice. So like I did here, I put T before M. And so if we know, okay, I'm going to do some erasing. So L is before J, right? And so is H. So I'm just going to do that. And then we know that P and G are before K. So actually, I'm going to need this eraser a little bit more just to make some space. So T starts at before M, and P and G are before K. That looks like a D, it's a P. Give me 1 second, I'll add a little stick to it. That's a G. Okay. Now, some of you might be more comfortable if you just keep all the rules separate, like we had before, but I like this. This makes me happy. It's all one diagram. And nothing occurs twice. I can see where everything kind of relates to each other. Now, where am I? I just keep in mind that these lines are stretchy. So H can go any place before J, just has to go before J. So these can kind of stretch as you need to imagine them, but this is the general ordering of how everything's going to fall. All right. All right. Which one of the following could be true? J is the field harvested first? No, because look, H has to come before it. So not possible there. K is the second field harvested. No, it has to have 1, 2, 3 things before it, right? And then M is the sixth field harvested. That looks plausible. So how many things have to come before? Actually, wait, how many things have to come before M? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only things that don't have to come before M are H and J, right? So yes, H and J could go after M. The only limitation on J, right, is have to come after L. But again, these are stretchy. So J can stretch all the way over here, and so can H. They just have to be after L. So yeah, M can be 6, and then we can have H and J be 7 and 8. Easy. If we want to check the rest, G is last. No, G second to last. No, because it has to have 1, 2 things after it. So it can't be second to last. And T is the 8th field harvested. No, it can't be last. It has to come before M. Right? Simple enough. If M is the 7th field harvested, then any one of the following could be the 5th field harvested, except. All right, so if M is 7th, there you go. So if M is 7th over here, then J must be last, right? Because the only things that can come after M are J and H, and J has to come after H. So only thing that can be last here is J. So any of the following could be the 5th field harvested, except, okay, what cannot be the 5th field? Could H be the 5th field? Yeah, I imagine so. Just because, the only constraint on H is that it has to come before J. So anything before J is fair game. I don't think so. J has to be last. So there we go. There we go. Simple enough. Done. We already know it has to go last. It cannot go 5th. Done. Some of these are very easy. You just have to know what your rules entail, and then you can just pick it out right away. So come on. All right, for the next one, which of the following cannot be the field that is harvested 5th? M, right? I don't even need to look, because we know M, the latest it can go is 6th, remember? Because H and J can go after it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things need to go before it. So it cannot go 5th. It has to go 6th. So answer is C. M. Again, very easy. Didn't even need to look. Once you're familiar with the game, you know where things kind of have to go. You can do things pretty fast. If J is the 3rd field harvested, then which one of the following must be true? All right, so J is 3rd, meaning that H is either 1st or 2nd, right? But what does that mean? M has to be last, because there's nothing else that can go after M, right? So M is the 8th field harvested. Yep, that must be true. Done and done. All right, next question. If H is the 6th field harvested, then which of the following must be true? So if H is 6th, right, then 7 and 8 can be either J or M. It can flip, right? Because we know M has to be either 6, 7, or 8, and J has to come after H. So J and M can be either there. So, for example, when it says J has to be harvested at some time before M, no, not necessarily. They can flip flop a little bit. So, but what then do we get if J and M are all the way over there, G, let's just look at the options because I'm not seeing anything that really follows, right? Just from the rules. I know that K has to be like 4th or 5th, right? But it can be either. It can be 4th and T can go 5th. But we've already dealt with H, J, and M, so we're mostly just dealing with this right here. G is harvested at sometime before T. Not necessarily, right? Because again, this is stretchy. T can go first, and then we can have LPGK, right? LPGK. That'd be fine. H is before K. No, by definition, that cannot be true. Because H is over here, and one things that come after it are J and M, right? So K cannot go after it. K is harvested sometime before J. There we go. Because J is either 7th or 8th, we don't know what it is, but by definition, K is going to have to be before 7th or 8th because the other one is going to be M, right? J and M are 7 and 8. Doesn't matter which one's which, but that means K by definition has to be, like I just said, somewhere in this range, 4th or 5th. Easy enough. So big one is remembering what pretty much has to go near the end, which is, for the most part, M, and then J. If we put some condition on it, like H has to be 6th, then yeah, J and H have to go up here. Which normally all we have to do is go after L, but when they give us these conditions, that's what we work with. All right. Which brings us to the last question for this game. If L is the 5th field harvested, then which of the following could be true? So if L is 5th, what do we know has to come after L? J and M, right? So J and M are somewhere in this debacle here. Oh no, wait, K, J and M, right? So K, J, and M are 6, 7, and 8. In what order, we don't quite know. All we know is that K is before M, right? So it could be KMJ, it could be JKM, it could be KMJ. Yeah, it can be a couple different orders. So which one could be true? J is before G? No, because J is one of these last 3 with K and M. It cannot be before G. And there it goes again, turning it into a mouse. J is before T. That could be true, I think. I don't know. Let me see. J is before T. Oh, wait, no, it can't be true. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, again, J, K, and M over here at the end cannot be before anything that is not K or M. K is before T. Same thing. It can't be before anything but J and M at this point. M is before H. No, M is before J. Yes, that can be true. Remember, like I said, we could have K. Come on. We could have K, M, J, for example. Nothing wrong with that. So K and M. K has to go before M, and then J can go anywhere it pleases. So there we go. Answer is E. All right, and then we're done with that game. So only one more left. See, I wanted to show one of these because it's important to note you can, in an ordering game, make one big diagram some of the time, which just makes life easy. All I had to refer to was this constantly, and it was simple. Leave it, girl. Leave it. Oh my God. My dogs are barking as I'm outside. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. We're okay. Ash, Ember, we're okay, sweet dogs. All right. Let's move on here. During a certain week, an animal shelter places exactly 6 dogs. Oh, like we can keep talking about dogs. A greyhound, a husky, a Keeshond, I don't know what that is, but okay. A Keeshond, a Labrador Retriever, poodle, and a Schnauzer. 2 are placed on Monday. Come on. Poodle, Schnauzer. 2 are placed on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, and the remaining 2 on Tuesday, and the remaining 2 on Wednesday. All right, so we have Monday dogs, Tuesday dogs, and Wednesday dogs. And 2 for each, right? And this isn't like the first one where something can happen twice. Each dog is only placed once, right? So here are the rules. The Labrador Retriever is the same day as the poodle. Labrador together with the poodle. And see, again, here I am using vertical because my categories are vertical. The Greyhound is not placed on the same day as the Husky. Ignore that line. Greyhound, Husky, no. The Keeshond is placed on Monday. The Greyhound is placed on Tuesday. Okay, actually, I'm going to pause here because we can make something with this, with just these 2. So there are 3 pairings, right? One is L and P, as you know, the first rule states. And then if G and H are not together, that means by definition, one of the other pairs has H, and one of the other pairs has G. So the only real question is, so we've already dealt with L, P, H, and G, is K and S. Do K and S, we try to figure out which one of K and S goes with H and which one goes with G, right? And okay, ignore this order that I put down here. They don't have to be on these days, right? This is separate from this. I'm just noting that we already have the majority of our pairs. So we're trying to figure out where K and S go. Okay, so if the Keeshond is placed on Monday, the Greyhound is placed on Tuesday. So if Keeshond is Monday, then the Greyhound is on Tuesday. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say this is another one of the ones on your paper. This is the last one. So, make sure if you have the paper, make sure you do it before watching me explain this whole thing. And then if the Schnauzer is on Wednesday, then the Husky is on Tuesday. All right, so we're trying to find which one's K and S pair to, and K and S are the two that trigger rules over here. So that's gonna be our most important thing. So let's look, what do we got? Which of the following could be complete and accurate matching of the dogs? Same as usual, first question. Let's see what breaks rules, shall we? All right, let's see if anything doesn't have L and P together. Oh, look, this one has L and G. So no. All right, something have G and H together. That's a big no-no. Oh, yep, right here. See, Greyhound Husky. Can't have that. So does anything have the Keeshond on Monday and the Greyhound not on Tuesday? So Keeshond Monday, yes. Oh, and look, the Greyhound, there it is on Monday, not on Tuesday. Can't have that. And then does anything have the, whatever the hell the S is, Schnauzer? The Schnauzer on Wednesday. Oh, this one has the Schnauzer on Wednesday. And is the H on Tuesday? No. There, the Husky is right there on Wednesday. That breaks the rule. So there we go. This has L and P together. The Husky and the Greyhound are nicely separate. The Schnauzer is on Wednesday, but the Husky is on Tuesday. So everything works out. So there we go. One out of the way. Question number 2. Which one of the following must be true? Okay. The Keeshond is not placed on the same day as the Greyhound. I'm pretty sure it could. Keeshond is not placed on the same day as the Schnauzer. Oh, yep, right. Because these are the two that we have to pair with H and G. So H is either with K or S, G is either with K or S, K and S are never together. They're split up, right? So easy. It's all making sure you figure out what's deducible from the rules beforehand. As long as I have this question is super easy. So on to number 3. If the poodle is placed on Tuesday, which is going to be true. All right, so if this is the case right here, P and L are on Tuesday, that means the Greyhound is obviously not on Tuesday, right? And neither is the H thing over here, whatever the hell that is. It was the Husky, yes. So which means the Keeshond is not on Monday and the Schnauzer is not on Wednesday. So Keeshond has to be on Wednesday. Come on. Keeshond is on Wednesday and the Schnauzer is on Monday. Again, L and P are on Tuesday. That was the rule. Right? We still don't know which of these is paired with H, which is paired with G, but we do know that this is how they must be. So which one of the following could be true? Greyhound is on Monday. Yeah, that could be true. Greyhound could be with the Schnauzer. The Keeshond is on Monday. Nope, Keeshond is on Wednesday. We just have that. The Labrador is placed on Monday. Nope, that's on Tuesday with the poodle. Husky is on Tuesday. Nope, that's already filled up. The Schnauzer is on Wednesday. No, Schnauzer's on Monday. Okay, so if that explanation went over your head, let me just do it again real quick. So both of these result in something being on Tuesday that can't be on Tuesday, right? Because if L and P are on Tuesday, neither G or H can be. There's only 2 on each day, meaning that neither of these can be true. K cannot be on Monday. S cannot be on Wednesday because they would trigger something that can't happen. All right. And so if K can't be on Monday, right, and Tuesday's already taken, it has to be on Wednesday. And if the Schnauzer cannot be on Wednesday, Tuesday's already taken, it has to be on Monday, right? There we go. All right. No, I wanted Racer. Thank you. All right. If the Greyhound is placed on the same day as the Keeshond, okay, then which of the following must be true? So now, where's this? So now we have confirmation that the Greyhound is with the Keeshond. Where's my? I'm getting out of it. I'm getting a little tired. That's important thing to remember. When you're doing the LSAT, it can kind of drain on you a bit. Normally, it's only 4 logic games for a section, right? I'm doing 6, so this is a bit more than normal. So normally it's 4. Just remember that. So the Greyhound is the same day as the Keeshond. So remember, this little bubble here is not about the days, it's just about the pairs, right? So we're not saying they're on Wednesday, we're just putting the pairs together, which means the Schnauzer is with the Husky, right? So these are our pairs. Now where do they go? So which of the following must be true? The Husky is placed on Monday. Okay, here's the thing, right? If S and H are together, this can't be true, right? S can't be on Wednesday and H on Tuesday. And if G and K are together, this can't be true, right? K cannot be on Monday with G on Tuesday. They have to be together. So I shouldn't have even looked at the questions yet because we can just figure this out. So K, actually, no, we can't, not completely. But we know that G and K cannot be on Monday, right? And that the S and H cannot be on Wednesday. So I'm just going to write that here. They cannot be on Wednesday. They, come on, I don't want the mouse. They cannot be on Monday. All right. So now we can look at this. The Husky is placed on Monday. That could be true, right? They can be placed on either Monday or Tuesday as far as I can see. So we're going to leave that. The Labrador is placed on Monday. Again, yeah, these guys can go anywhere as of right now, as far as I'm concerned. So that could be true. I'm not seeing any reason it has to be, though. I'm not crossing them off because they're not false, but they just don't strike me something that has to be true quite yet. It could be they turn out that way, but the Keeshond is placed on Tuesday. That could be true. The Poodle is not placed on Wednesday. It can go on Wednesday. Again, L and P, they can go anywhere. The Schnauzer is not placed on Wednesday. Oh yeah, H and S cannot be on Wednesday. We have that. Fantastic. That's what must be true. Again, must be true. We'll normally follow from your rules. We already had that. We followed it. Easy. So that's why I wasn't spending too much time on these, because we already had what the results had to be. So I figured one of them was probably the answer. So there we go. That's question 4. Okay, gotta be careful erasing these. If the Husky is placed on the day before the Schnauzer, which the following cannot be true. All right, so now we have a bit of an order starting to emerge. So the Husky is the day before the Schnauzer, meaning that they are not together, right? So if Husky is before the Schnauzer, then Husky has to be with the Keeshond, right? So Husky is with Keeshond, and that's on the day before the Schnauzer, which has to be with the Greyhound, right? So if K is with H, then S is with G. Right? So these have to be in order of days, and then we're just trying to figure out if L and P goes at the beginning here or at the end. So if K is on Monday, G has to be on Tuesday, that can be true. If S is on Wednesday, H is on Tuesday, that can be true. So it can go either way. So what can't be true, let's see. The Husky is placed on Monday. That can be true. L and P can be on this end, they can be Wednesday, right? I'm pretty sure. The Keeshond is placed on Monday. Let's look at that. The Keeshond can be on Monday. Again, if L and P is Wednesday, if L and P is after here, that can be true. The Greyhound is placed on Tuesday. Yeah, this can be Tuesday again, because L and P can be Wednesday. The Poodle is placed on Tuesday. Oh, there we go. There's something. So L and P can't be in the middle, right? Because H and K has to be the day right before G and S. So L and P has to be either Wednesday at this end or Monday at this end. It cannot be between the two. It cannot be Tuesday. So D is the answer. That's what can't be true. All right. Got so many little dots here from the other ones. Okay. All right. Last question of the last game. We are almost done. Anyone who's actually stuck with me this whole time, know that I deeply appreciate you. All right. Everyone who only focused on one question and left, you know what? I'm glad you got something helpful, but I don't appreciate you quite as much. If the Greyhound is placed the day before the Poodle, all right. So Greyhound is the day before the Poodle, which means also the day before the Labrador, right? Which the following cannot be on Tuesday. Okay. So after G is before LP, the G, doubling. So partnership group, whatever you want to call it. So then H can either be before or after, as far as right now, right? Which the following cannot be placed on Tuesday. Yeah, it doesn't. Because I just said H can be before, it can be Monday. Because remember, H and G are separate. So H can be Monday, G and whatever its partners can be Tuesday, and then L and P can be Wednesday. Or H can be at the end over here. And G is Monday, L and P is Tuesday. But H can never be on Tuesday. It can't be between these two because the Greyhound is the day before the Poodle. Right? So there we go. That is the end. All 6 logic games gone through. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions on any of these, again, feel free to talk to me anytime. And of course, if you have any other questions you want to go through from any other book, same thing applies. All right. Hope this is helpful and have a good one.